So you have been working on Lightroom for quite a bit and you have an amazing pictures, but something feels off. When you're editing, you want certain part of your image to be a bit different than the other one, and it all seems to be very confusing because everything changes. Well, today I'm gonna show you how with the power of masking, you can make the perfect picture on Adobe Lightroom. Hi guys, my name is Maxime Cheminade and I am an award-winning underwater photographer and filmmaker, and today we're gonna talk about Adobe Lightroom masks. If you have no idea where to start with Lightroom, I will strongly recommend you to look at this tutorial. This is where we started first with this picture. Let's jump right in the software. So this is where we left off last time. There is a few things I would like to do to this picture. The first one is I'd love to enhance a little bit of the detail of the wreck. I think we're missing a little bit of detail here. And the second one is all divers, they need a little bit of care because now they are a little bit bluish and the colors are not that great. And they don't really stand out compared to the black background, blue-black background. And even if you're a professional, I do think this is definitely going to help you because there's a few tips and tricks that I've learned along the years with Lightroom on how to make masking much more efficient and much more beautiful. So let's go and take a look at this. Lightroom gives you access to a few masks, such as subject, sky, and background. Those are AI masks, and sometimes they do work fairly well, even underwater, but I tend not to use them that often unless I'm in a very rush and I need to take a picture out immediately and I know they're gonna work. My most used mask is the brush mask. So we're gonna go into it. I'm gonna select the brush, and very important here is the brush part. Size of the brush, I tend to check which part I'm gonna do. So if I'm gonna start with the wreck first, I am going to use a size that is going to be around 10 pixels here. I do a little bit of feathering. I like to have a brush that is feathered. I think it looks a bit much better. And one of the most important things is the flow. What is flow? Flow is how much of a brush is applied at each stroke. Meaning that if you put a teeny tiny bit of the brush is going to apply. If you then go all the way up to 100, all the brush is going to apply at once. On the brush, I'm going to show you how the mask is going to apply with flow. I'm going to use O to just show me the mask. If I take the mask at 100% and I make a stroke, the mask is applied 100%. So each time I'm going to make a stroke of the brush, it's going to apply this mask all the time. Doesn't look that great. I take my flow down to, let's say, 12, and I make one stroke. You see it's much more faint. That gives me the ability that if I move and go back a little bit much more into certain parts by going over it, then I can change how the flow is applied or the mask is applied by just moving around left and right. That is super powerful. Why? Because in the nature, in the world, nothing is ever 0 to 100%, right? Sometimes you have more shadow, sometimes you have things, and it's gonna help bringing realistic mask in terms of your picture. This is game changer. When I started to use this technique, it made my picture so much better. So let's do that. Let's use this brush to enhance the detail of a wreck. To enhance a wreck, I like to use a combination of a few things. First, I like to have a bit more contrast. I like to desaturate it a little bit, just give it more a bit of like this, out of like metal-y feeling. Sometimes a bit of yellow and also a lot more texture, clarity, and dehaze. These parameters, you can see, if you don't know them, I explained them into the previous video, that they are going to apply only on the mask I'm going to use. And if we start to paint, just bring it back here. If we start to paint on our object here, it looks like almost nothing is being done, right? It doesn't look much, but actually, if I now use the eye, you see like the detail applied much better. And it looks so natural that it's almost like you don't see it being applied, but it just works because it's just blend immediately in the picture. Okay, so I'm gonna do the entire wreck and then let's fast forward a little bit. Okay, so now that I've painted my entire wreck and I can see the mask, you can see here where I've painted, you can actually just change the parameters to your liking. So if I want a bit more contrast on it, a bit less saturation on the wreck, maybe making it a little bit more metallic feeling, like this, and increase even more the detail, you can do it to your liking. just by changing the parameter inside of the mask. By using the flow feature, you can get quick detail very, very fast, just at a snap of a finger, because it looks very natural and very, very nice. And that's one of the most useful things. Now we have my divers here. The nice thing is, because we're working in RAW, we can actually change part of the white balance and part of the color tint of every part of the image by using masking. So how do we do that? We're going to use the same thing. We're going to use a brush. So this time I'm going to work a little bit closer to my diver. Here is my buddy Kento that was diving with us. And I want him to have a more natural look and a more natural color. So if I look into this color temp, I see blue, and then the opposite is yellow. So I'm going to be using a little bit of yellow. Very special tip here. If you're using yellow in any part of the picture, add a little bit of pink to it. It's just going to make it ever so slightly natural. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. So one thing, we're going to start with the tank. Tank's a very nice way to see where and how the mask is applied, and if it's too blue or too yellow, because we all know how tank look like or are supposed to look like, right? So if it's too blue or too pink or too yellow, we can just apply all masks here. When I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, I went a little bit too strong, especially on his leg level. And I'm like, maybe I want to do and to change part of this, or even remove, or just make it a little bit slower. And I'm thinking, maybe I want to remove part of the mask I applied, or just diminish it a little bit. And for this, there is two ways of doing it. We can either erase the mask here. So when I'm working here, I can erase part of the mask, and we see, same thing with the flow, I can erase the mask, or even just erase part of it. But you can also, if you click on your mask, use plus or minus here. So if I said I want minus, and I want to subtract this mask with, let's say, a linear gradient. So if I apply this, now this linear gradient that I just added subtract himself to the brush I created, and this is why my brush is doing is less powerful here than it was before. If I remove this, we can see my brush is back. It can be useful if you just want to try something here and there, you're not sure, or you don't want to delete your very precious mask. I mostly do not use erase. I actually add negative masks to mine. I think it looks a little bit better, and it just helps me to control a bit more the flow of the mask. So to control the flow, I'm going to create a negative mask, a negative brush here, same thing, same parameter. And what I do most of the time is actually I use the side of it, mostly the side where I have the feather. So even if I apply it, if I want to have a gradient here, because I don't want it to spill too much, but I still want it to look natural, I can use this as just a side to create the perfect mask for me. If you don't do that, it's going to look like you have a halo around the diver. It's not that great. If it's only a little bit, it's not going to be a problem, because most of the time, sometimes the picture, the color looks a bit weird in the water and they create halos. But if you want something more defined, this is the way to do it. And you're going to see just after a little bit. And you're going to see after a little bit, we are starting to get something very natural. I can also go back to my plus here, my plus brush, and I can just re-add a little bit that I missed. Or if something is a bit too strong, I can always flow it back. I like using the mask, the all mask, just to see where things are applied. I think it's a very cool feature. It just helps me to see more, like if I've missed something or if something looks odd. We can see the effect like that. I like not to move to put too much effect on the entire diver. I'm going to show you one of the special tricks that I use called dodge and burn in a different episode, especially to enhance detail and part of divers. This is amazing. So if you like going into the very fine detail and just giving your picture a little bit of a pop, it's a very great feature. But it's going to be a different video than this one. Okay, so now that we're here for diver, I still think that it's a little bit too shadowy. It lacks a little bit of contrast. I'm going to add a little bit of contrast on him. I could add a bit of dehaze as well. It's going to add a bit of contrast, and you see automatically dehaze create this green hue. So as soon as I'm doing this, I will have to push the green, and I think it doesn't look that great. So this is where I'm going to start to dial back on the dehaze, making sure that we don't have this weird green hue, and then ask maybe a bit more contrast like this. Sometimes when contrast doesn't really work there, I will do it manually. So I will add my contrast or shadow directly here, or in a tool called Curve here. I'm going to show you Curve as well in a different episode because curves are a little bit complex to understand. And they're very powerful. I use them all the time. But just for now, we're going to use the sliders. They are doing a lot of the job already. And I'm at a place where I'm fairly happy. I just want to enhance a little bit more, I think, the skin tone here of Kento, and maybe the white of the X tip here. If I wanted to use that as a commercial photo, that'd be great. So what I'm going to do, another brush. I'm going to now work at 3 or even 400%. 400%. I'm going to use just a little bit of exposure in this. Flow, very minimum flow, a bit of feather, and I'm just going to pass by on the mask just to enhance a little bit of this masking, a little bit on his face here, on his rebreather. Okay. We can see the mask is applied there. Maybe in here, the white X behind. Just wanted to get it a little bit out. Yeah, if now I'm back to Kento, I see up. See here, it looks a little bit like something is wrong in the middle of this mask. It's probably because I have less mask here, so I added a bit more mask. Same thing, I'm gonna do a negative brush just to brush it off the blackness of the mask, just to make sure it's consistent. And it looks great everywhere, not on the black. I don't know if you can tell, but I really like painting people. I think this is one of the greatest joy I have as a photographer, is to actually do this. Here we go. So let's see how he looked. Yay. So there he goes. So now if we looked at the entire picture, just the masks, this is what the masks are doing. It's a very, very, very drastic difference, I have to say. I really like this picture a lot, and I think it's great, but there's a few more things we can do to it, especially backscattering, and then maybe removing unwanted elements, and this is going to be the theme of our next video. So if you like this, please consider subscribing, because I'm going to do something about backscatter and also show you an automatic and AI way to deal with backscatter, which is absolutely amazing. So stay tuned. And if you also like this video, please consider looking at this one, because this is all about underwater photography and how to choose a nice camera to start in.